Okay, we started with this question number 1. The answer is B because of an exothermic reaction when the bonds form. And since carbon is gaining oxygen, it's the reducing agent. Water is oxidizing agent, and the reaction should be endothermic. Answer is C. And enthalpy change should be calculated by subtracting the energy of products and reactants. Exothermic, therefore, sign is minus 50. The answer is B. Finally, we came to this. That's 110 total. Just recorded for those who didn't attend. All right, next one. Here the kinetics, right? In kinetics, if you take this time and amount graphs, you consider this graph, the gradient represent rate. Gradient represent rate. And rate is connected to concentration, temperature, surface area, pressure, catalyst. So any of these factors can change the gradient. But the total amount of products produced, this is the maximum amount of products. Max amount of products. They have a dam. Right? Depends on moles of limiting reagents. Moles of limiting reagent, because the amount of product depends on the limiting reagent. So now we'll see. In the graph curve, one was obtained by observing the decomposition of 100 cm cube, sorry, hydrogen peroxide solution, catalyzed by MnO2. Curve 1, MnO2. Make a catalyze කරලා තියෙන්නේ. That's true. It's faster. Right? Second reaction, they are asking what kind of a reaction is 2. Now you can see this is slow. So whatever the conditions here must tally slower reaction. Not only that, it is higher in amount, higher products. That means it should tally with limiting reagent, higher limiting reagent. Limiting reagent එක වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ. Rate එක අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? So let's say we have to make a note on volumes and stuff, because look, the moles matter here. 1.0 into 100 divided by 1000. So moles of hydrogen peroxide here is 0.1 mole. Original 0.1 mole. Can make first එක හැදෙන්නේ 0.1 mole වලින්. The second එක බලමු. Lowering temperature will not help because rate will decrease. Products can't increase. Products cannot increase. But this is not a reversible reaction. They haven't mentioned it's reversible. In detail, endothermic reaction temperature අඩු කරොත් rate එක අඩු වෙනවා, yield එක වැඩි වෙනවා. හරි? Those are like higher. Using less magnesium oxide, catalyst doesn't have an impact on amount. No impact on amount. No impact on amount. Therefore, it cannot be the answer. using a different catalyst. Again, no impact on amount. The amount and more amount is there. So simply the answer is now A, but we must be able to argue on it. Why? That's because it has a lower concentration. What you add, lower concentration. Nice. Lower concentration means slower reaction. Slower reaction. That's fine. But here you add more hydrogen peroxide. So you add more limiting reagent. More limiting reagent means more products. Yeah, right? So only the substance exists. Then lower solution. So then it will definitely dilute the solution because you are putting a less concentrated one. Diluted one, that's okay. If there is a power cut, just let me know when switch off the camera. Otherwise, keep the camera on. බොරු කරොත් ඉතින් ඕගොල්ලෝ අපාය යනවා. දන්නවනේ. නේද? බොරු කියන ළමයින්ට සිම්පල් විදිහට කියනවනේ. හම්බ වෙනවා පනිෂ්මන්ට් එක. දෙයියෝගෙන් පනිෂ්මන්ට් හම්බ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. කර්මයෙන් හම්බ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මන් දෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. එක්සෑම් ලකුණු වලින් තමයි ඒක හම්බ වෙන්නේ. Okay. I'm keeping the slide little more for people to write down. If you have any doubts, you can ask here. There is no rush. We will be discussing this slowly and in detail. Right. Next one. At the start of the reaction of 1 dm cube solution contains 0.3 moles of ethanol. After the 100 seconds, concentration of ethanol has decreased. What is the rate of reaction over first 100 seconds? Unfair question. Right? So first of all, we will try to understand what is rate according to this. It is concentration difference. Concentration difference. Concentration difference during a particular time period divided by that time. Agreed? ඔක තමයි rate equation එකේ definition එක. දැල්ලකනේ මේ ඉස්සලාම අතර ගන්න ඕනේ මේ. Right? ඉස්සලාම ගන්න මොනවාද මෙයා දීලා තියෙන details. Right? Let's say they have now what is the concentration difference? Concentration difference is, suppose you can say higher concentration subtracted by the lower concentration. Initial concentration minus final concentration. Initial higher have they given initial concentration? Have they given initial concentration? Haven't they given initial concentration? Sure. They haven't. Oh, it's very good, very good. ඉස්සලා ලියන ගමන් නම් ඔයා ඔළුව හෙල්ලුවා. Yes. So we have actually identified a very simple technique for many of you to, not all, many of you to improve your marks by somewhere around 5 to 10 easily. Right? Read your question. in detail and mindfully. ගොඩක් අය question එක බය වෙනවා read කරන්නේ. Or you read it half and start answering. Don't do that. Please underline. Please underline important stuff, and while you are underlining, mindfully label them. This is modes. This is concentration. You can understand they don't tally. You can't use both of them in the same equation. Then you realize I have to either convert moles into concentration or convert concentration into moles if you are going to subtract. So remember that as very important exam tip. Read, underline, label your data. Right? Okay. So now I have initial moles, final concentration. Luckily, if you convert this into concentration, moles 0.3, concentration we don't know, volume is 1. Therefore, it's 3 itself, 0.3 itself. Then mandano 0.3 is my initial concentration. After 100 seconds, it's this concentration divided by 100. Moles per dm cube per second. What's the answer? C. Right. Next. Aqueous sodium thiosulfate reacts with hydrochloric acid. The rate of the reaction increases when the concentration of both reactants increase. Underline correct. Nitrogen gas reacts with hydrogen gas. The rate of reaction increases if the pressure changes. That's understood because they are gases. Right? Increase. Which row correctly explain why the given change increases the rate of the reaction? Not bad. Concentration means you have more particles in unit volume, more frequent collision. Pressure means again particles are closer, more frequent collisions. Right? There is nothing to do with energy. So higher frequency collision between particles, agreed. Wrong, wrong. Higher frequency, agreed. Activation energy never decrease because of pressure. Easy, right? If you analyze an answer, they are easy. But you have to link your thinking to prior knowledge. Next. Which statement is correct? Food can be preserved by using sulfur dioxide. Straight away, that's the answer. Because sulfur dioxide is used as a food preservative. So it's the answer, but we'll see just in case if you didn't know it. Are you going to give up? No, you know contact process. In the contact process, oxygen reacts with sulfur to make sulfur trioxide raw. Contact process එක අපිට අග්ගාලා ලියමු ළමයි sulfur oxygen sulfur dioxide oxygen reversible sulfur trioxide. The reversible එක ලියනකොට make sure you write your physical state as well as the temperature 450 degrees to 880 m. Vanadium pentoxide, and then sulfur dioxide is sent through sulfuric acid. Oh, no need. And sulfuric and H2S2O7 and oleum is going to dissolve in water to give to sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid. Right? Notes when you are reviewing MCQ, make sure you do some memory activities also. So process, this is wrong. Sulfur dioxide is used to kill bacteria present in wood pulp. Right? Or immediately statement එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ හරිද? මම කියන reason එක. Wood pulp වලට sulfur dioxide යවනවා. Right? යවන්නේ bleach කරන්න. Bleach කරන්න අපි chlorine use කරනවා. We use chlorine. Chlorine is used to kill bacteria as well. See how they have mixed it? Right? They are playing with children's memory. Right? This is raw. Sulfur dioxide is, and sulfur dioxide is used to kill bacteria in food. Right? See how like creepy fellows. Right? This is raw. Wood pulp bacteria marla beta lamai. Wood pulp should be bleached. Right? Wood pulp will be bleached using sulfur dioxide, or maybe chlorine. That's bleaching agent. Killing bacteria is in water or in food process. Water wala bacteria kill karante chlorine gas. Food wala sulfur dioxide. Be bad, right? Luckily, sorry, there was a small glitch. I hope you guys can hear and see the screen. Right? I mean, hear me and see the screen. I mean, yeah. Okay. Right. Next one. The reversible reaction below has reached dynamic equilibrium, the one we used to explain the Lear-Chatterjee concept. Right? What does the dynamic equilibrium mean? Right? The reaction has stopped outside. But inside the reactions happen. The rate of the forward reaction is now 0? No. Okay, let's write. Actually, what happens? Rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction, and concentration of reactants and products remain constant. Products remain constant, and also it should happen in a closed system. And temperature should be constant. Otherwise, you can't have dynamic equilibrium. Not only temperature, even pressure. No, concentration doesn't have to be equal. අයියාර මගේ fish tank එකේ එක පැත්තක් 60 එක පැත්තක් 40 equal නුනේ rate එක තමයි equal වෙන්නේ. Right? So the rate of backward reaction and forward reactions are equal. That's the answer. The concentration of this is the distractor. Rate is equal. Concentration doesn't have to be equal. Here are the points. They can appear in the papers tomorrow. You have to enrich your knowledge with acid base, salt preparation and stuff, separational techniques. ඒවා by them පුළුවන් ළමයි. හරි? ඒ ටික පාඩම් කරනකොට මේවා අමතක වෙනවා. අයිනෝ. right? මේවා ටික පාඩම් කරනකොට ඒ ටික අමතක වෙනවා. So it's a constant struggle, right? දැන් මම කොච්චර කිව්වත් you are doing harder job than me. ඒ ළමයි මම සබ්ජෙක්ට් හතක් පාඩම් කරන්නේ. I remember only chemistry at the moment. That's different story that I am teaching several syllabi at once, right? That's again chemistry. But I know you guys are doing a much harder job, right? History, science, physics, chemistry, bio, maths, English, literature, right? What not? There's a lot of information. So you guys have to understand what kind of like stupid attitude you guys had in the grade 9 initially. Maybe in the middle. අයියෝ මේක අන්තිමෝට පාඩම් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතාගිටියේ. දැන් පේනෝනේ පාඩම් කරන්න තියෙන තෝගේ. Right? Those who are on duty, you will little relax. Because you know that I have collected a lot of knowledge, just have to practice. සමහර අය තාම මොකද knowledge එක collect කරනවා පාඩම් කර කර collect කරනවා, right? So that's a constant struggle, but at least if you have started now, right, by exam, you will be all right. The pieces have time. Right? Okay. Next one. The usual conditions for the Haber process are 250 atm pressure, 450 and ion catalyst, right? Which change conditions would give reactants more energy? More energy is only temperature. Only temperature. Nothing can give energy for particles other than increase in temperature. Right? No doubt. Catalyst, that and this. No, it's temperature only. Right? And the other thing, remember, you have to remember the fact that Haber process is exothermic. ඔයා එක fact එකක් විදිහට මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ. This is an exothermic process, as well as it is a number of particles decreasing process, where you have the conflict of what? Temperature between Le Chatelier concept and collision theory. Le Chatelier says lower temperature for higher yield. Right? And collision theory says increased temperature for faster reaction. So it's a conflict between these two. So we are managing the conflict by keeping optimum temperature, rather compromised temperature. Okay? So those are the stuff you guys have to remember about your Haber process and also contact process. Next. The process is usually carried out at 400 degrees Celsius. Then exothermic. Exothermic reaction. Again conflict. Le Chatelier say lower temperature. Collision theory say whether it's exo-endothermic, it doesn't matter. Temperature should be increased. Therefore, you can't lower the temperature as well as you can't increase the temperature a lot. Therefore, 400 degrees Celsius must be the what? Compromised temperature. Okay with it? Sure? Right. Which law correctly shows it? Position of equilibrium, increasing the temperature to 400, increase definitely backward. Because forward reaction is exothermic. When you increase the temperature, it will go backward. No doubt. Right? Therefore, moves to left. Right? Rate of reaction increases. That's the answer. If you have any questions, you can ask. You guys believe me or not? With me now, you have done minimum 400 MCQs. 400 MCQ with a class. Television the games, you papers. Where 400 MCQ review but Cambridge order paper nothing clear. Right? Conditions apply. Right. Excellent. Which process doesn't involve the use of catalyst? Redox reaction that remove combustion pollutants from car exhaust means what? Catalytic converter. ඒක කිව්වොත් හවු වෙනවනේ හොරේ. catalyst එකක් නැහැ කියලා කියන්න බෑනේ. එහෙම කියන්නේ නැතුව වෙන බොරුවක් ලියලා තියෙනවා. So that's wrong. The manufacture of sulfur trioxide. Manufacturer. Okay. Okay, manufacture of sulfur trioxide. Right? That's a question mark. We never learned something called manufacture of what? Sulfur trioxide. It was produced in the middle of the contact process. But they're very tricky. Manufacture of sulfur dioxide can be contact process again. Main reaction taken. And it uses vanadium what? Pentoxide, 5-oxide. Therefore, this is also wrong. The production of ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen, paper process. Extraction of iron from hematite in a blast furnace is the answer. You may be wondering, we had calcium carbonate that and this coke and stuff, but none of them is a catalyst. Next. Which pair of reagents are more suitable for laboratory preparation of copper 2 chloride? Salt preparation. When you are deciding how to prepare a salt, you take all your reaction list from the general equation. Don't take the metal and right? You can start with reacting metal and non-metal. Right? You end up with copper, anyway, copper 2 chloride, CuCl2. You can start with reacting metal and acid. You can get copper 2 chloride, hydrogen. You can start with reacting oxide and acid. Anyway, it is HCl. Water, because you need the chloride ion. You can start with copper hydroxide. Copper hydroxide. Wait. So what is the first and the golden rule in salt preparation? Check the solubility of the salt. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. So that's the first thing we have to do. This is a soluble salt. This is a soluble salt. So no precipitation. Then we have to go for these reactions. Right? So you decide it should be copper chloride, water. It should be copper. It can be copper carbonate HCl, fine, because you can make the salt, carbon dioxide and water. You decide these 5 reactions. Then lamai making cancel karanna. Filter off. We can't be bothered mixing. We can't be bothered mixing what? Metal and non-metal and do some violent reactions. You can't do this because you never know how much copper solid you have in the vessel has reacted with chlorine. Normally we don't practice this. Right? So basically it's not practical. This is not practical. You can't do this. Practical. May exam answers point out, you have to follow these methods. Then only you can do chemistry. Copper and HCl, copper chloride and hydrogen. Sounds very good because even the gas produced, you can see the bubbles. If the bubble stops, the reaction stops. But unfortunately, right? This reaction cannot happen. Why? Copper is less reactive. Copper is less reactive. Copper is less reactive than hydrogen. So this reaction doesn't happen, right? No reaction like this. No reaction like this. Then this is a neutralization reaction. That is possible. This is a neutralization reaction. This is a neutralization reaction. And all of them starting materials are insoluble. That's much better. So therefore you can go for excess solid method. You can go for excess solid method. You can go for excess solid and acid method. Right? Then අපි choose කරමු answers. aqueous copper nitrate, aqueous mix කරන්නේ මොනවාටද ළමයි? Precipitate කරන්න. අන්න පටන් ගන්නකොට මොකද decide කළා no precipitate. ඒ golden rules දැම්මම තමයි මේ වැඩේ හරියන්නේ. එහෙම නැතුව guess කරන answers හොයන්න බෑ chemistry වල. Right? So this is wrong. Copper chloride, we want bad. Copper and hydrochloric. See, like you are being taught chemistry the exact way these examiners are thinking. Right? Okay. Benefit gun. The answer is D. ඔයාගේ part එක තමයි ඔයා ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලා තව salt දෙක තුනකට මේක දියලා බලන්න. What about zinc sulfate? What about magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate? Am I good at writing these reactions and deciding are these reactions happening? That's what you call learning, right? So that's your part. So ලොකුම ප්‍රශ්නේ තමන්ගේ part එක කරපු නැති එක තමයි. ඒනට දැන් time තියනවා කරන්න. Right, next. Did we go right with the last slide? Video online ළමයින්ව මම meeting එකේ දානවා එළියට. දෙතුන් දෙනෙක්ම දැම්මා. If you have a problem just text me. All right. Question number 4. 3 separate mixtures of solution and solid are made. The mixtures are warm. In which mixtures go just gas? Oh, all right. So here, a similar thing we discussed in the previous class. You need to know in what situations that you get gases in your syllabus. List down that builds a good database, right? So here are the reactions that gives you gases. Metal acid, right? Carbonate acids, sulfite acid, and ammonium salts base, nitrate plus base plus aluminium. Then these are the 5 main situations where you get gases. What are the gases? Hydrogen from metal acid, carbon dioxide from this, sulfur dioxide from this, ammonia from ammonium, ammonia from nitrate. Carbon dioxide, it can be even hydrogen carbonate. Even hydrogen carbonates. Right? දැන් එතකොට මේ වගේ list එකක් වාගේ mind එකේ තියෙනකොට answers හොයන්න ලේසි. So this is a metal acid, right? So it should be metal acid gas form and don't. So these two are out. Plus that metal should be more reactive than hydrogen as well. Right? So මේ මොකක්ද? Base. Ammonium salt. එහෙනම් ammonia gas හැදෙනවා ළමයි. Right? Lazy, even though you don't know the second one, you find the answer. Right? When you use my techniques of finding answers, you always improve. Improve එච්ච ළමයි දන්නවා. Improve වෙනකොට ළමයි ඕගලන්ට මාස් එක එනවා. You start liking this. Then that gives you positive reinforcement and then you start doing more. Listen to that, right? Right. කොච්චර ආසුණත් ඊට වැඩි ආස distract එකක් ආවොත් වැඩි upset වෙනවා. ඒකින්ද මේ දවස්වල පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Distractors වලින් අයින් වෙලා ඉන්න. Right, next one. The list shows a portion of metal. All right, so it's less reactive than iron, more reactive than copper. So these two electrolyses, when you are going to extract it, this fellow blast furnace. So anything below can be blast furnace, right? Let's see. Which methods could be used to extract metal X? Electrolysis of solid metal oxide. Now, if we use electrolysis, you can obtain any metal, no doubt, depending on what physical states that you are going to work in. Sodium, aluminium should be molten, right? Once below hydrogen can be aqueous. Above hydrogen, na molten window. But you can't. No, it sounds correct. Electrolysis, even high reactive one can be obtained, but you can't electrolyze a solid. Solid doesn't conduct electricity. Solid ionic compound doesn't conduct. Since it's a solid, you can't electrolyze it. Heat in the metal oxide with carbon, no problem. If iron can be, carbon is somewhere here in the period. Reactivity series. So X is less reactive. X is less reactive than carbon. So obviously B is all right. And the heat in the metal copper, no, copper is less reactive than X. It is less reactive than X, no way. Then it no. Therefore, the answer is 2 only. 2 only. 1 to get what is it? 2 only. 1 to get 1 8. And 1 to 3 okay. 200. Okay. All right. Next one. Iron is extracted from its ore from blast furnace. Alkaline salts are used in blast furnace. We'll write down it. How many times we have written command name? You will remember. Carbon oxygen react to give carbon dioxide in the certain areas, and carbon dioxide will react with carbon again. Just for extra knowledge, it's exothermic. You know that. Because the combustion of carbon is very exothermic. And this is endothermic. Producing carbon monoxide is not very feasible, and that carbon monoxide is the one going to reduce iron-3 oxide. Now the physical states are not necessary because you get liquid iron, gas, solid, liquid, and it's not compulsory, carbon dioxide gas. So 3, 3, 2. So these are the three main reactions, right? Compulsory reactions and optional reactions. Calcium carbonate will decompose to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is going to escape. Right? It's not carbon dioxide, it's calcium oxide solid is going to react with silicon dioxide sand, solid. Giving you calcium silicate due to high temperature, it's molten. Reactions, they are right, let's have a look at types of reactions. All of these three are redox. All of these three are redox. And this is thermal decomposition. This is thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition. Actually, we are in trouble because we got power faster than, earlier than expected. So I wonder I will have enough backup power, but we'll go ahead as much as possible. This is an acid-base reaction, and it's a neutralization reaction as well. Neutralization reaction. And then the worst part, the bugs. Right. What is the purpose of the limestone? Decompose to release oxygen. Burn the cork? No. Decompose to neutralize the acidic impurities. That's what it does. So we can go until the 20th question. Reactions I think so. There is no I think so now. Yes, I have done it. And එහෙම මතක තියෙනවා. දැන් බල ලියන්න බෑ. බලන්න නැතුව ලියලා check කරන්න. Did I write everything properly? The memory you get when I write is not yours, your memory. That's not your memory. That's the memory I always generated from your brain. You must see whether you write it and see whether you can generate your memory. Right? So these are the stuff that you have to go home and write and see whether you can. So we are basically covering this last part. I recommend you to go through corrosion reactivity series experiments, right? Also, next one. Water supply can be purified by filtration and chlorination. Chlorination is to disinfect water, you know guys. Which substance remains water supply after this treatment? Filtration will remove insoluble impurities. Chlorination will remove bacteria. So that too can't stay. Which substance remains in the water supply after these treatments? Fine sand, and bad. It's insoluble, we removed it. Harmful microsomes cannot exist because chlorination must have destroyed it. Mineral salts, solid organic matters cannot be because it's insoluble impurity. Mineral salts could be there. Right. Next. Fossil fuels are used to power some internal combustion engines. Which pollutants are produced by internal combustion engine burning fossil fuels? Right? Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon, unburned hydrocarbons. If there is no catalytic converter, these are the fossil fuel pollutants. Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen monoxide. This is from diesel, coal. Others from all the fossil fuels. Right. Carbon monoxide, yes. Nitrogen oxide, yes. Which pollutants fossil fuels are used to power some? Sulfur dioxide, yes. Right? Sulfur dioxide to theron. Therefore, I don't know. Check the 1 second. Give me 1 minute. Right? 18A. ගොඩක් අය 192 ගැහුවේ 18A. ගිල ලේසි එකක් කරන්න It is so hard. Right. Then which two gases do not damage limestone building? Limestone is made of calcium carbonate, our Taj Mahal discussion. ඒක අපිට හොයාගන්න බැරිුණානේ මම ඔයාලා කියන්න කියලා. एक discussion किए थे? Then classically, if we have that argument of the symbols of calcium carbonate reacts with acidic gases. Acidic gases. Right, like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, not nitrogen monoxide. These two are the acidic gases. So nitrogen is neutral, carbon monoxide neutral, so wrong. Neutral. Carbon monoxide is neutral, so do not damage. Do not damage, all right. So then do not damage. That means if they are neutral, fine. That's the answer. A. Nitrogen dioxide, does it? Carbon monoxide, no, but at least one is doing it. Nitrogen dioxide, yes. This is not. This is doing. This is not. Therefore, the answer is A. So you select neutral gases. Did I jump any questions? No, I didn't get it. Right. And the last one. Oh, okay. Already get the other pull on. Inlet for the vegetable matter, decaying of vegetable matter, outlet of the slurry. What the gas coming from the top? Methane. Is that the question they're asking? The answer is methane. Can be used as a fuel, however, if the gas is allowed to escape, becomes atmospheric pollutant. What's the gas? That's methane. Here. Take the top. Right. Here on top. एकदम ये होगा ये टीम होगा और ये का टीम होगा चलो कर ये का टीम होगा चलो कौन है 75%. Product in the network you work with, I think that means there is conflict in one of the answers I have given. We have to go back. You said 18 is wrong, right? 18 is wrong. Take a 18 answer is A. Happy. 15 is the 15, 2 only. In the metal oxide with copper is impossible. Oh. Online lamai mark करना DNA के 18. The answer that I gave on the board is correct. The answer should be C. 15. Yeah, 15. The answer is C. You got 19 out of 20. Let me see how the online students have done. Let me see how online students have done so far. My worry is some of you haven't submitted the answers. Okay, so those who send me the answer sheets in the WhatsApp chat, please let me know what are the marks that you got from, what are the marks you got in the empty chat. Please type it empty chat or even in the WhatsApp and send me the marks. So the idea of today's class is to give you like quick insight of grade 10 work, right? So when you go home, make sure that you go through a little bit of grade 9 work as well, right? So this might have given you kind of a recap on grade 10, right? So I'm done for the day. You can peacefully go home if your parents are here. I'm going to wrap up the meeting for the day, and good luck to you guys. Don't just study overnight today, right? Study so that you can have minimum 6.5 hours sleep, right? Don't study too much. Too much staying overnight. Okay, that's not going to work. Bye. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir.